Hi, this is Natalie Lander, voice of Kinsey, Tara Branford, Stargirl, and many others. You are listening to a W2Mnet podcast. You can visit W2Mnet.com for other podcasts about entertainment, video games, sports, and wrestling. You are listening to Video Games to the Max.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Video Games to the Max. This is episode 247 and I am your host Sean Garmer, and here with me as always, Mr. Marc Morrison.
Howdy.
And well, we thought we did a show before this whole election started, and the election's still going on. It looks sort of basically all wrapped up, unless I'm sure that the current president will do everything he possibly can to filibuster this as long as possible, even saying that he will have to be pulled out of the White House kicking and screaming. That would be just so appropriate for the last time we ever see that man in the White House, wouldn't it?
Right before he's hauled off to prison.
That'd be just great. Like, oh, you just total full circle. The child gets pulled out of the White House. Yeah, this has been a saga of stressing everyone out for a whole week. At least your state represented and voted for the better person.
Yeah.
At least, and being more of an upstanding human being. And my state, of course, with just so many personalities that we have in Florida, including all of the Cubans and other Latins that feel like we're just going to become socialists or something. Not going to happen in this country. Our Congress, for one, would not allow it. So I think people are just like freaking out too much. Like, it's one thing for some of these smaller countries to do that. It's another thing for the oldest democracy in the world to be doing that. Let's get off political talk, because that's one way to turn people off really quick. First of all, thank you for listening, whether it's your first time or the, 100th time that you've listened. We appreciate you either way. And you can always go hit subscribe to the Video Games to the Max feed on whatever podcast app or device that you listen to us on, so that way whenever we do drop a new episode, you can have it right there in your feed. And of course you can go review us on Podchaser or any of those other podchaser.com, or just on any of the other apps. And we have a Facebook page, w2net.com Facebook page you can go follow us on. We're both on Twitter. He's at Humanity Plague, I'm at W2MSean, so you can go check us all out and what we have to say on a daily basis. And so, the other major thing, of course, from this week, of course, the consoles don't come out until later next week, but the reviews are already out for both Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. So I'm sure everybody's been watching and reading those already, but anything, have you read or watched any of those?
Yeah, I've seen most of them. Or I've seen a good chunk, like Giant Bomb, seen Game Informer, GameSpot, and I think IGN.
Yeah.
And they've all been mostly towing the same line, like, more or less.
Yeah, the Xbox Series X is great, except it has no games to really show off the console. PS5, sort of the same thing, except the UI is newer and sleeker, and, it does have Demon Souls to show off the console, which, that's...
Well, Demon Souls and Spider-Man and Bug Snacks and that robot thing.
Yeah, but Bugsnax, Spider-Man, and what's the other major game?
Astro.
Sackboy are all on PS4. But yeah, Astro Bot can also show out the system because it comes packed in. Either way, I think it's hilarious, the people that have been using anything possible to, spread the console wars, anytime there's a post of, oh, look at this game. Oh, it turns out that, apparently PS5 does, some backwards compatible games even better than Series X, and some of them not, because none of them are optimized for the SSD on PS5. Apparently Bloodborne still plays exactly the same. While Dark Souls 3 and Sekiro play really well. So, weird that Sony wouldn't try to get FromSoft to do that right away when you're giving that away in the PlayStation Collection, but I guess whatever.
Well, it's not day one yet, so it may still come down the road.
Yeah, it could be that it's coming in the.
I mean, all these
patches.
reviews for like the PlayStation 5 they talked about they can't talk about like the store, like that's still under embargo, and I was like, why? What does that really matter? But
yeah, I know. Why does it? Oh, because we might see a game that you don't want us to see yet. That's weird. I don't know why the store is under embargo still.
I think it was like the store and the media apps, and it's like what?
Xbox already told you all the media apps that are going to be on it. Why? Yeah. I don't know. Sony's has been weird about. Let's be secretive. I mean, to be fair, some of it's worked, obviously, but I think that's just more people are just interested in the PlayStation in general. There's more PlayStation owners, there's going to be more interest, obviously.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited. You got the good news that your PS5 is coming day and date.
The day of, I'll be camping outside of my cold-ass porch waiting for it.
Yeah. That doesn't. I would be doing the same thing. Obviously,
it better not rain or snow.
Considering where you are, wouldn't be surprised. Randy did get the same thing. Jens, as far as I know, still has not gotten anything yet on whether or not he's getting either one on the actual date, right?
I don't think so. Well, he would have mentioned it, but yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, my Series X still says order received. So some people, it seems like there was a lot more PlayStations that moved to shipping date than Series X's. We'll see if that changes in the coming days when it actually gets closer to launching. I don't want to keep trying to do that trick of, apparently if you mess with the shipping, change it to 2 day shipping. Yeah, apparently, if you switch it between 7-day and 2-day, for a lot of people, it apparently changed made it ship when it's supposed to. And I was like, I don't want to keep doing that. And then it tells me they canceled it or something. So
I just want them to take the money out of my account now. That's what I want.
I mean, yeah, I want them to do that too because it's set on a card that basically is all for that. So, I want them to charge it so I can start making payments on it and then be able to use it again. Or find out if I'm not going to get it for a while so I can use it to buy games or whatever, So, yeah. It'd be an Amazon, just charge it already. Come on, let's go.
Well, they charge when they ship, not when it's really going out. So I'm just tired of having that money in my account because it's a very big, temptation to blow it. On something really dumb. So just take it now, so I'm broke.
Exactly. It went through and it's going and, right. So I'm hoping that, it has happened before where I know it's happened to me a few times where, it says order received and then it still shows up the day it's supposed to.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that that's what'll happen for me, but who knows? If not, then I will say, if not, the nice thing about right now is that I can just play Yakuza and Assassin's Creed and Kingdom Hearts on my phone and on the regular Xbox One, and then whenever that does come in, I can just put it right on the Series X. So, nothing really bad to say about either console. I feel like that's good. That's something great to be excited about, that you don't have anything to worry about with those consoles so far. Obviously, again, yeah.
The biggest negative I've seen is the PlayStation UI isn't as it's built on the PS4 back end. So a lot of the menus are the same.
The menus look the same except it's gray.
Or I think Jeff Gerstmann was complaining about some of the party system or how to find the photo app or the photo album thing. But it's
yeah, but they have the create button and all that right there, so.
Well, yeah, but the actual program that you could use to edit photos or copy them over, he said that was kind of hard to find. The import gallery or the export gallery thing.
Okay.
But I would say that's actually pretty negligible because, like, considering what a mess the Xbox One had this generation of.
Oh, but it's definitely a lot better now since they've updated it.
Yeah,
I've been using it, and it's so much better.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't blame. This is why a lot of the UI wasn't changed, because they just basically like a month ago, I think it finally got available for everybody.
Right.
So, because they've been in that preview program forever.
No, like, that's why the PS4 one or PS5 one is still based on PS4, because the PS4 generally worked right out of the box. Like, they added more features like resume, like click and resume and stuff like that. But for the PlayStation 4, they never really completely overhauled the system because they didn't need to, because it worked.
Yeah, it worked really well, pretty much. At least it's way better than the freaking PS3 that, oh my god, that thing was so slow.
Yeah.
I hate it that they have classics that are just stuck on there that probably may never show up. And it's just like, and it's just like, oh my god. Navigating this frickin', and the way that they would have the games all listed out in this huge ass list. And I'm just like, really? This is terrible. But a different time, folks.
Well, once I get my PS5, I'm putting my PS4 in a plastic bin. I'm never going to remember that thing again, probably.
I'll probably take my PS4 and Xbox One up to the room. And then the 360 and PS3 will definitely... I actually don't have them hooked up at all. They're just there. And I will probably just put them up. I don't know. I don't have anything that Anaya could really play. So there's really no point of me even having them other than to just say I have them.
Yeah.
So, but they're not worth anything, at least at a place that would give you anything for them at this point. So,
yeah, I mean,
well, keep them.
Certain PlayStation 3s are still kind of expensive, or they can be decent. But like, I went to a store to like sell an extra Xbox 360 I had. They were like, "We'll give you $20 for it," and I'm like, "Nah, I'll keep it." Like,
yeah, that's like nothing. So coming up, we do. I mean, obviously, again, we don't have the systems yet, so always so much we can talk about. The next show, hopefully, we'll have ours. Depending on when Marc gets his, he may or may not get hands-on time with it by then. But yeah, we'll definitely, and hopefully Jens will as well. We can get him on. Don't know about what Randy will be doing, but we'll see. And we'll get to talk about him then. And yeah, and then talk about the games as well that go along with those launches. So yeah, that's to look forward to. Obviously, plenty of stuff to talk about that's been going on in the news as well. And then we also have our top 5 launch skins of all time to talk about. I'm probably going to drop some controversy, at least I know with mine. So we'll see. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. I haven't been playing anything because I've had to, I've been working, and then the election is basically, I've been watching that all the time. Don't really want to do anything. And then if not, I finally got the Captain Tsubasa review written. It's like, I don't know, 3,000 words or something. And then I got all of y'all's recent backlog done, except for your Watch Dogs Legion review, which is now, it's in the editing bin. I gotta get through and edit it and then post it. What are your, I guess, you talked about it quite a bit on the last show, but anything else that you wanted to
No, I mean, still the fatal flaw of the game is just that, like, there's no story, or there's no main character, so you can't write a story around it. So it's just, like, I don't know why you're supposed to care about any of the characters you play as. Like, I don't even know I don't know any of their names. I just know them by what outfit they're wearing. Or it's like, hey, this is my Dead Sec, or this is my, Albion guy, or this is the Kelly Gang guy, or girl.
So the story is not interesting on its own without having the character?
There's at least, I mean, some of the enemies, like the boss enemies, are kind of interesting, but like, there's no emotional investment in any of it because you don't care about your character.
Fair enough. So the bosses aren't even good enough to like carry the day.
No, there's like 4 of them. One's kind of a spoiler, but the other 3 are like, at least two of them are kind of in the story, but one of them is so not even a part of the story. I didn't know she was a major boss until like I defeated her. You don't even fight her. You just do like a moral choice, And then I went to the boss screen, and it showed her with an X, and I was like, wait, that was a boss? Like, it's like, that was anticlimactic as all hell. Like, really?
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I was originally, I think I gave the game a 6. I was going to give it a 7, but like, load times are so bad in the PS4 version. And it's not like, if you load into the game, it's fine. Or like, I understand missions can take some time to load. That's okay.
Yeah.
But like, the game's premised upon you switching characters, like, I would think kind of frequently. And there's like a 20-second load between character switching. And it's like, this is unacceptable. Like,
well, I mean, I guess on PS5 and Series X would be pretty instant.
I'm hoping. I'm going to, I reviewed the PS4 version. Once the PS5 one comes out, I'll spend more time with that. And if it's better with that, I'll probably give it a higher score just based on the technical merits. But it's not going to, like, fix the overall, like, inherent flaws in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just really weird. Like, I can't fathom why they built the story like that. And Ubisoft keeps doing this where they have, like, basically, like, faceless characters or characters with no personality. And it's like, you're not Valve. You're not Nintendo. Like, if you want these stories to resonate, if you want to have a story in the first place, you're going to need some type of interesting character or, a character at all would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. Like, they just kind of had not even a best 2 out of 3 with Watch Dogs because Aiden wasn't he was great at it.
I think Aiden is like one of the worst characters in all video gaming. And the fact that they were like, when they announced the season pass, they're like, oh, we have a Aiden Pierce. He's going to be one of the focus points of the season pass. It's like, really? Like
why?
You're going to pick that dude instead of the Watch Dogs 2 guy? Like, all right, I guess.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense at all.
And like Watch Dogs 2, you have the main guy, I think his name was like Marcus Holloway or whatever. He was an interesting character just by himself, but like, he had a whole gang of people with him that all had like distinct personalities. Mm-hmm. And all I have is a really bitchy, like, politician and this cop, who's like actually a critic or a, central character, but she does nothing. She just hangs out in your base and just like lambasts you, and that's about it. It's like, this isn't exactly a great, like, group of people to hang out with.
Yeah, certainly not. Well, I mean, hopefully they'll learn. They still got Assassin's Creed. It looks like Ivor's going to be a good character, and I'm kind of still excited to play Immortals Phoenix Rising. So we'll see when that comes around on December 3rd. And yeah, I mean, that's going to be interesting because now they're going to have one less game to deal with for that December area because Bloober Team and Microsoft moved oh my gosh, why can't I think of the Medium?
Yeah.
Out of that spot at December 10th. Immediately when Cyberpunk moved into that spot, I said, how long is it going to take before the Medium moves out of there? Because even though it's it's going day one to Game Pass, they still want people to buy it.
Right.
And going up against Cyberpunk is just asking for like no one to buy your game. So they have moved to January 28th of 2021, giving them a much more cozy spot because usually that's the time where kind of get people breaks, and that is when we've been having big games come out. Resident Evil 2 came out that time frame, Kingdom Hearts 3 came out in that time frame, Monster Hunter World came out in that time frame. I don't know which one was the one this year, if there was one. I'd have to look at it.
It all blends together for me.
Yeah, I mean, but like, it's a much better thing for a Bloober Team getting out of the Cyberpunk time. I mean, they did blame it on COVID, but it's funny, they did actually say in their press release due to the release calendar during that time.
Yeah, that's always nice.
I mean, I guess they acknowledged it or whatever, but looking at it, the biggest game that came out in January, and I was the biggest seller in January, was Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, which you reviewed on the 17th, because Warcraft 3 Reforged did not do well. And yeah, I mean, Journey to Savage Planet is okay, but I wouldn't consider it
No, that's an indie game. I mean, Kakarot was big, but It shouldn't have been, I guess.
Yeah, so, I mean, that was sort of the big release of January. We've had bigger releases in January previously. But, yeah, so, Bloober Team gets to go out then, and we'll see if there's other stuff that are coming around it, now that the, PS5 and Series X will then have close to 2 months have been out at that point. Speaking of, I would say, this furthers the bad narrative that Microsoft has right now with the Series X of you don't have any games to show off the system. This was your first game to show off the system, and now you don't get to have that either. So, not great. One of the games I would say that doesn't show off the PS5 very well, Godfall, turns out it's only a timed exclusive until May 12, 2021, where it's free to go to other consoles. That's one game that, unless it comes to Game Pass, I will care nothing about whether it shows up on Xbox or not. I just have no interest in that game, and every time I look at it, I'm just like, really? Okay.
It's not just you. I don't think anyone has it. It's like, there's always like one or two games that come out for a console launch, and they're just completely ignored, and that's going to be that one.
Oh, I'm sure there's people that are like big time, Borderlands fans that will buy anything that's released by Gearbox or whatever, and cool. And there's people that like these kind of games, and I'm sure they will go for it. But I don't know, this like trying to go crazy because it's one of those PS5 exclusive games. Let's buy it. I don't see the big deal about that.
Yeah.
And also, Kerbal Space Program got delayed until at least 2022. That's crazy. We're delaying it not just until 2021, but 2022. Nate Simpson, who's the creative director, said that he's very frustrated. They've had to adjust their schedule already once due to COVID. And, there's just a lot of technical and creative challenges with trying to do something different with Kerbal that wasn't just in Kerbal 1 or just doing Kerbal 1 better, which I appreciate. Like, I appreciate that they're actually trying to do something different and trying to go the extra mile and like, make something that you haven't seen before. I
don't see that as a huge problem because like Kerbal 1 got released in early access and it was in early access for like 60 years, or it seemed like, like that game was like that was like one of the first early access games, and it was in early access for I think at least 5 years. So if they want to wait that long to even put it out in they want to delay it till 2022 to put it out like in an alpha state, which they probably will. That's reasonably okay.
Yeah, that's I appreciate the transparency at least.
Have you played Kerbal, or do you like it at all?
Yeah, I like Kerbal a little bit. I know Daniel's the one that's a huge fan of Kerbal. I like Kerbal some.
I mean, I like the idea of it, but I didn't find it really easy to use.
No, yeah, it took me a while to figure it out. I like I said, I liked it, but it wasn't something that was like, oh man, Kerbal's awesome or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are a lot of people that really enjoy that game, and hopefully, they can make Kerbal Space 2 something good. And Control, which was, a lot of folks' game of the year for last year, getting that Ultimate Edition. We talked about how it's coming to the cloud for the Switch in the last show. Well, it's not coming to the next-gen consoles, at least until it looks like February or March, because the Ultimate Edition has been delayed. They want to make it as best as it can be. We've already seen how apparently it's not all going to fit on one disc for Xbox and all that stuff. So It's apparently a lot that they're having to do, and I guess good for them to be able to give it some more time in the oven.
Sure. I mean, Control's a good game, and having it on a much more powerful system would be very nice.
Exactly. Especially with the problems it had on PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah.
So one of the funny things, I guess we shouldn't be surprised, right? Like, it is Konami after all, but apparently PT at some point worked on PS5, and then now it does not, thanks to Konami. So according to both Polygon and Games Radar, Polygon's Michael McWhirter, you said that apparently when he first got his PS5, he actually transferred the PT over, actually transferred over the save and everything. He restarted from the beginning, and and then, all of a sudden, after October 24th, he used it more, and apparently it seems like PT was taken down by Konami.
Well, I'm sure it's just some system level flag that, 99% of the apps are cleared to pass, but like, it was like, PT, well, I mean, it's like those 10 apps that like aren't playable, like Shadow Complex, Hitman Go, and like those other 8 crappy games.
Yeah.
And then, they probably just have the flag selected for like no, for some reason, like either technical or what. But also, like...
Well, no, but apparently it seems like Konami's stopping it.
Well, that's what I mean, is Ubisoft put out that list, last week or 2 weeks ago saying like, oh, these like 9 games aren't playable. But apparently Assassin's Creed Syndicate is. So it's like kind of the inverse. It's like, why did you put this list out and then it is? Like, so I'm sure they just elected to not have it be usable. Like it's not a technical thing, because I think the Game Informer guy said like, hey, this plays fine. Like, it's not fixed or it's not like improved at all, but it plays just like it did in the PS4.
And it probably won't be, but...
Right. I'm kind of curious, like, you have to imagine that, I think there's like the other Game Informer guy says he still has his console, that his PT is still playable on his console. I would be curious about like his firmware, because if it was like 1.0.12 or whatever, and those are on the consoles out right now, if you could get PT on the console without going online first, and then go online and update it and have it still work.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be kind of my questioning, or my thing that I might try to do. Like, don't go online, don't even set up an account if you can. Just out of the box, put in like a USB key or a hard drive with PT and say, hey, will this work? Yes or no?
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, those consoles have probably been sitting in a warehouse for like a month at least. Like, they're not like opening up consoles right now and putting up the new firmware out on them.
No. You're gonna have to update when you turn those things on.
I didn't have it, but I remember like when the Wii U came out, there was like a really massive update that like took like a damn hour to download because the Wii U speeds are awful.
Yep. Well, so, I mean, updates now take sometimes hours to download too.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, yeah.
But I mean, maybe they'll fix it. I mean, Konami did this before, where they made it to where you couldn't you couldn't download it from the store anymore, so the only way you owned it is if you had downloaded it previously. And
yeah, there is like some bootleggy way to like get it back in your PS4, like you have to download it from like some weird server or something, but I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, we'll see. It's a cool demo, but it's still just a demo at the end of the day.
I mean, I played it and I wasn't that impressed. I just find the mystique around the game really funny.
Yeah, true.
Because there are people who like obsess over it. It's like it's an hour-long demo. Like, okay, get over it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they would say the same thing about like my obsession with Sonic Extreme for the Saturn. So, only the difference is that was a cool game. So,
yeah. Well, we'll see if that ever gets fixed here for.
Yeah. Or it'd be funny if, like, one day it's just allowable, or like someone just stumbles upon some arcane method to like just get it on your PS5. Like, oh, if you install like these 4 games, it somehow works, or something weird like that.
Yep. Well, speaking of things you won't be able to do, apparently on the like this is weird because I watched IGN's review and I watched Kinda Funny's review and some other ones, and it's like they were talking about, okay, PS5 apparently you can have the external drive set up just like the Xbox Series X and just stick it in there and it pulls all your games, and apparently, at least the IGN guy, that's what he did to get his games on, and then now all of a sudden GameSpot is reporting that you can't just plug in external drive. Oh, like, so PS5 games can't be moved to an external drive, which is weird because he says that they could in the review that I watched. So
I always thought it was like you could only store games on the external drive of like for PS4 games.
No, okay, so like the Series X, you can store Series X games. I know that,
yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's what I thought it was all about, though. Like, you could just not. I mean, yeah.
But like, I don't see why like it matters why you can't store a PS5 game on an external drive. Like, it's just storing it. You're not trying to run it off there. You're just trying to use it as storage. Yeah.
I mean, they'll probably add that functionality in later.
Yeah.
Especially after the first week when everyone fills up their PS5 hard drives.
Oh, certainly, yeah. Especially once Call of Duty comes out. And that thing takes up this massive storage that, especially if you play Warzone and then you're going to get Call of Duty Cold War after. Oh my god, your 64 gigabytes of usable storage is going to go out pretty quick. And then if you get all the big games, for one, if you try to install most of those games on that PS Plus collection, it's gonna go out pretty quick. So, and you don't have them or something. Yeah, that's going to be interesting how that works. So far, every review I've seen or just knowing, Series X, you can house next gen games and transfer and play, but you have to transfer them back to play them on the console.
And then archiving them if you want to get them off
I think they will fix that because that kind of, unless Sony really wants you to go buy it. That's the thing too, is okay, right now, when you buy the PS5, or if you get a PS5 launch, you will not be able to put in an SSD drive, to upgrade the storage. So, the only thing you can use is an external hard drive. So that makes no sense to where if you know for a while you're not going to be able to let people use those, internal drives, you need to make this work. Because at some point people are going to want to, it's not everybody, because there's not a lot of people are going to be buying all these launch games, but if you buy a lot of these launch games or games that come out afterwards, even if they're for PS4.
Yeah, I was going to say, or PS4 games. Most of the videos I've seen, people have 3 PS5 games and the rest of the library is PS4 crap.
Yeah, so you're still going to want to move over your PS4 stuff to the PS5. That's going to fill up your, and to only make your PS4 games able to move back and forth, that kind of seems weird. I think they'll fix that. But yeah, we'll see how much of that 664 gigabytes becomes a problem pretty quick.
I don't think you did it. I don't think you posted it, and I know I didn't, but the Xbox Series S has 364.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Again, every time now, I feel like we just hear worse and worse things about the Series S. And I almost thought about buying a Series S at first. I said, if all it does is it just doesn't do 4K or whatever, then no big deal, whatever. And then it's every time you turn around, now it doesn't even run, now it has a hard time running games, in 4K, and really the only cool thing about the Series S is it can do 120p. The problem is most TVs don't even do 120p, so that doesn't really matter. And then the storage space is terrible, and you're talking, it's a digital only console. Xbox makes you install the whole game anyway. I don't know how PS5 is doing that this time, because at least for the PS4 you got to save some of the hard drive space. So that'll be interesting to see if somebody figures that out. But yeah, I don't know. It just, every time you turn around, you're not hearing great things about the Series S, if you care at all about graphics and storage. So, yeah, it really does feel like a budget console if you really don't care about any of that stuff and you just want to have a console that says, hey, I'm in next gen and I can play some of these games. But, yeah, I don't know. It makes me happy that I chose the Series X every time I hear more things about the Series S.
Yep.
Yeah, let's hope Sony fixes that thing pretty quick here, so you don't do that. One cool thing that both Sony and Microsoft are doing, maybe it's not so cool, but because I do miss going to the store sometimes and having that line to go get your console or see if you can get a chance at a console or whatever. That's not gonna happen. And it makes sense during the pandemic. You don't want people crowding a store, being around each other all the time, to see if they can get a shot at getting a PS5 or Series X. It's gonna be all online. So, Walmart, Best Buy, that's it, right? Anybody else announced that they were?
Sony basically said we're not gonna have any store, this console's not gonna be sold in the store this year. And I don't know if Microsoft is doing the same thing exactly.
Well, Microsoft, at least for Walmart and Best Buy, they had a really awesome commercial for Walmart.
Yeah.
Which gave me all kinds of feels because I wasn't the exact same age as the way they have that kid start out. I was a little bit, I think younger, and I had a Naya into the Xbox One generation, not the Xbox 360. But yeah, like, it still gave me the feels of like, oh man, that's a console that I've been with my entire, life or whatever. Very much like PlayStation or,
I feel more nostalgia for the PlayStation than into the Xbox, honestly. But yeah.
Well, like, the Xbox was the first console that I remember asking for. Like, I remember telling my dad, like, I want this, because my friends had it. We all played it at parties. Like, we all played Halo when everybody took their TV and everything. Like, that was the console that I said, I want this. Like, all the other ones, my dad he knew I liked video games, so they just showed up. And my brother also had those consoles, so, like, he'd probably talk to him about it or whatever. But, so, like, I have a nostalgia for that in that way. But, still, I thought that was cool that Walmart and Microsoft were able to make that advertisement. But yeah, I mean.
Yeah. I mean, I question how much of this is COVID related. Like, they don't want to spread, the illness to people. But also how much of it is, like, just low stock in general.
Yeah, but, like, why wouldn't you want people to have a reason to come into your store and maybe see if there is one there?
Because I don't think Sony or Microsoft want the headline of console sales are spurning COVID upsurges. Like,
yeah, probably too.
Or you don't want 30 people crowding inside of a small ass GameStop or waiting an
well, yeah, because
line,
people are crazy now. They'll follow these trucks, and somebody will take a picture and be like, "Oh, we got PS5s in the warehouse, or we got PS5s in the back." And so, because trust me, this is somebody that used to collect pops. Trust me, I know when those people that because there would be people that work at these stores that also collect them, and they'd be taking pictures just to screw with the people online that they know would go crazy, especially for like the convention ones or whatever. And the same thing would happen to the PS5 or the Series X. They would take pictures and let people know that they're in stock, or people would start using that. There's a website that you can use to find out if there's things in stock physically in a store. Yeah, you said it. And so, like,
it's funny. I use that site, or I try to, but like, it's always wrong for me.
I had that same problem with Target. It was always wrong or whatever. But it's like, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say sometimes it works, but like, at least more than half the time it's wrong. Or they go like, this one Best Buy in your area has this laptop for super cheap, and I go there. And they're like, we don't have any laptops. It's like, thanks a lot,
Like, shit.
Like, I had the SKU number and the stupid, like, whatever Walmart ID you need. And they're like, you don't have it. I'm like, cool. And then the next day they'll still show it in stock. So it's like, you didn't sell it. Like,
where'd you put it? It's sometimes though it's not that they have it in stock, it's that's so display one, and they're not selling that.
Yeah.
Which they don't tell you there. So, like, I think I get it. Like, I think you just have a mass crowding of people being like, oh my God, it's at the store. We're going right now. And it'd be like Black Friday every time there's a new stock. And I don't think they want that.
Right.
You don't need that. Especially with the PlayStation 5. I think Sony knows, especially with PlayStation 5, people would go crazy like that. And also, oh my God, can you imagine Black Friday?
I mean, I don't know about, like, down there, but, like, regional chain up here in Meyer got rid of games pretty much altogether. They have, like, one aisle that's, like, really sad. Yeah. But even, like, the Best Buy are getting rid of, like, physical media.
Oh, really?
We had, like, my local Best Buy used to have, like, I think 4 shelves with Blu-rays and DVDs and stuff. Now they relegated it, like, one corner, like, basically 2 very small shelves, and it's like, what happened? Like.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing, though, is, like, a lot of people don't buy movies and especially music, like, they don't buy it physically that much anymore.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, like.
But there's still a market, and I'd rather have that. I mean, but if you see, like, if you ever go on, like, Best Buy's Deals of the Day stuff, like, website, they have the weirdest crap they're selling now, like, on their site, or you can buy it in the store. And it's like, why are you selling suitcases? Why are you selling roadside emergency repair kits? It's like, what happened?
Yeah, because, I mean, now they sell appliances,
I mean, they've always sold, like, fridges and shit. I mean, I don't fault them for that, but.
I mean, people are they're not buying all that physical media that they used to. So, like, why cram it into your store and waste space on stuff people aren't buying? It's like, you know, it's the same reason why, like, GameStop doesn't sell DVDs anymore, doesn't sell, you know, they said now GameStop is only going to sell the top 100 games. They're not going to just sell everything that they used to. So, or we'll actually have it out in the store. Now, if you're looking for a game, you have to go you have to ask somebody over the counter. So, which that's smart. They should have done that a long time ago, honestly. Yeah. To be fair, like, there is a lot of games that GameStop would sell that I'm just like, nobody's gonna buy this, like, ever.
Wait, you don't want to buy a 5-year-old copy of Madden?
Well, yeah, I mean, not just that. It's just like, there's games that's like, nobody's buying this. It's terrible. You know, like, I mean, it's like this is stuff that, like, you used to be able to get away with. I think I would say that the Wii era was probably the last time people just walking in a store and just buying whatever because you had so much shovelware on that thing or whatever. But, like, nowadays, people are they can research and they can go find out what games are good and what are not, and you know, they don't really need to even ask a GameStop clerk. They can just find that online really quick. So, you know, but interesting that they have gone this route of, you better get your F5 ready because even Walmart said it, like, you have 4 days or 5 days to get your F5 finger ready. Right. I was like, wow, we're really embracing this here. So we'll see how that goes, the craziness. And apparently there's like 4 different times you can try to get a PS5 on Walmart's website. I don't know how Best Buy is going to do it, but we'll see. So also this was the time of the quarter ending, so a lot of the companies were able to release their big time, how much the financial records, and something just wasn't great for Square as far as Avengers goes. So apparently they lost quite a bit of money, 6.5 billion yen loss for their HD Games division, which roughly equates to like $63 million. Wow. And they pegged a lot of it on Avengers only selling about 3 million copies, when it was a game that was really expensive to make, about over 100 million. And it looks like it actually cost closer to almost 200 million. And oof.
That's probably even factoring like marketing, or like, advertising, stuff like that. I mean, I think COVID played a part in that, like the low Avengers sales. Also, like, not having Marvel movies this year, essentially. Like, that didn't help. But also, it's just a tepid response of Avengers itself. Like, from day one, I could have told you that game was going to undersell.
Oh, no, definitely. And well, not just that. It came out, that beta didn't help things because it made people realize that the game is broken. Yeah,
or it's a lesser Destiny, which is kind of scary when you really think about it.
Yeah, and then, like, I mean, to their credit, a lot of the stuff you didn't really have to, like, buy or anything, but...
Yeah. I mean, they were talking they're going to fix that game, and I think it has more momentum than, like, Anthem, but I don't think they're going to ever do, like, anything radically different to it. I don't think they're going to Destiny that game up. Like, I just think no one cares, and it's really hard to get that fan base back.
Yeah, like, I mean, we always say that, it's really hard with these, like, these kind of games. You need to make a first impression because a lot of times people will not give you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
On that. Like, you're not going to just, oh, well, we'll come back later when it works again. Oh, no. Especially when it's not, okay, we're not talking about, we're not talking about, Genshin Impact. Okay, that game's free.
Right.
We're talking about...
Yeah, or like Fall Guys. Fall Guys was broken for a little while, but like, that was essentially free, at least from the PS4. So it didn't matter if it was kind of fucked up, at least for like a week. It was still fine.
Right, but like, that's stuff that happens. Like, it's not that the game didn't work, it's that their servers went down. But it's like, Avengers was broken, and then you're having people pay $60, $70, $80 for this game, and then, on top of it, stuff doesn't work and you're wanting to pay more and you're wanting to do this, and it's like, that really leaves a really sour taste in people's mouths. Like, it's just, that's the same thing of, why Destiny got so much crap, because you were releasing all these expansions and then you weren't really doing a whole lot with them, and people are paying $40 or $50, and it's like, at some point, you need to, yeah.
I guess if Avengers was free, I might try it, but I know I probably wouldn't like it. And they're not going to sell that game for free, or you should just do what Marvel Heroes did and give you one free character, and then if you want to play any others, you have to buy them yourself.
Yeah, it's freaking nuts, man. I feel bad, right? That that's the case. But
I feel bad for kind of Crystal Dynamics because they're always blamed for bad game or bad sales. Remember Square Enix is blaming them for low Tomb Raider sales, and it's we guys have vastly, you have vastly outrageous sales demands on Tomb Raider. They're the third game undersold or didn't do well, and it's it's the third game. What do you expect?
Yeah.
But I just don't. I don't think anyone really wanted Avengers, and like I said, I think the lack of the huge marketing budget or see, to me, Avengers, the biggest problem with Avengers is just it has no imagination or no creativity. It only has one character who's not a part of the MCU, at least currently.
Right.
Miss Marvel. All you're doing is facing stupid robots in the game. There's just nothing. There's a lot of wacky and weird shit in Marvel. They can't, and it's why not have some creativity in this game? The old one did. Marvel Heroes had some.
Yeah. And that's what's weird is they have games to look at. Right?
Well, Marvel just plays it so incredibly safe. Think about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. It's you can pretty much only have the MCU Marvel characters. And it's okay, I don't care then. If you're not going to be creative or let people who are making the games be creative, why should I care?
It is what it is, man. I don't know.
Yeah. I remember last year people saying oh, they're going to fix Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and it's no.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. Yeah. They're oh, they're going to add in 12 new characters or 16 new characters, and it'll be all the X-Men characters you want, and then a bunch of new Capcom characters, and it's well, that didn't happen. So, what do you have to say about that now?
Yeah, people are just sometimes, I think, wishful thinking at some point. And it's
for Avengers, they should just call it the Marvel game and do what Marvel Heroes did and throw in 30 new characters. Half be recognizable characters, but half just be kind of weird and off the wall characters, and say, hey, screw it. Here you go.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Well, at least, Square Enix has, what wasn't great, but, who did do fantastic is, Nintendo, who are just, it's insane at this point, the way the Switch is selling. It's, people are just absolutely killing it with it, buying this thing everywhere, every time it comes out. It's we're gonna buy this, and it doesn't stop. And yeah, it's insane to me. So what, Super Mario 3D All-Stars came out and sold, what was it, 5.2 million copies in just 2 weeks, which that's pretty damn good. They've sold 68 million Switches globally. That's pretty insane for that console to only be around for less than 4 years at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, again, COVID helped a lot, especially with Animal Crossing coming at the same time. But it's crazy. Okay, we're at 68. 3DS sales are at close to 76 million lifetime. It's gonna kill that. It's gonna kill that. And Game Boy Advance is 81. Dude.
It probably won't crush the Wii because the Wii was over 100 million or way over that. I think.
And it depends. If it depends on what you do, right? If they do the same thing where they come out with the Switch Pro, and you do the same thing like Sony where you lump it all in together, then it probably will.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the whole DS family is at 154 million.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be crazy if it gets to that.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, is this, not only that, but like Amazon, or Animal Crossing becomes the third Switch game to sell over 20 million with Mario Kart 8 and Super Smash. And, I mean, Breath of the Wild is really close to that, as at 19.74. Mario Odyssey's at basically 19, and Pokemon, both the Pokemons are there too, and they have the DLC. So, like, man, we'll see if, once we get to see the PS5 and Series X numbers, if those existing now have Nintendo take a hit. But man, Nintendo has really been profiting off having the old competition so far. But man, that's crazy as well. So, and speaking of, just to stay on Switch for a second, Resident Evil 3 may also get a cloud version. So the next cloud game may be Resident Evil 3.
That wouldn't surprise me. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the same. Like, apparently, it's called like Ubitus is the one that's working on, like, at least the Control one. And so they've been, they're doing this cloud version for Resident Evil 3, and it's apparently got data mine, so people found it. We'll see if it gets announced. And they're apparently working on more of these, so we'll see if there's more of them. More.
I mean,
games.
it's an easier way to port higher end games to that thing that doesn't have a reduction in graphics or gameplay, so sure, why not?
I mean, you'd have to have a really good connection, so we'll see how good of a connection you have to have for the game to run well. Could they make it work on something as good as like how Microsoft makes the xCloud work, where you only have to have like 10 down?
They'll sell some like 5G bundle. You just plug in some weird adapter to get it on 5G.
Ultra Rod 5G. For your Switch. Probably not, but we'll see. We'll see. And we'll see if 5G ends up helping with that.
Right.
Speaking of also, I mean, not that we really needed to, know this. I mean, I think we kind of knew already, but, Sunday confirmed that Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is only on PS5.
Yeah, so. I saw people kind of being pissed. I'm like, what do you expect? Like,
yeah, I mean, like, you kind of need to have PS5 only games. I mean, did you want that to be on PS4 as well? I mean, like, look at some of the stuff that game was doing that can't do that on PS4.
Not unless you want like a 20-second long load time between dimensions or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, and then that takes you out of it. Like, if I'm constantly I have to constantly see a load screen every time I'm going through dimensions, I'm not going to want to go through a bunch of dimensions.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't see anything wrong with that. Like, people need to realize that, yes, it's going to take a while probably for the PS5 to be available for everybody, but there's going to be PS5 only games.
Yeah, that'd be like someone going like, hey, when's that Dark Souls or Demon Souls remake hitting the PS4? And they're like,
it's like,
no,
nope.
It's not.
I think it still may show up on PC at some point.
I think PC but I don't know about that one, because, like, I mean, there are some PS4 games on PC, but there's one, maybe two.
Right, but they did accidentally, like, put it into that video, and I feel like it's so weird that, they had to come out and make a statement. Like, I don't know, I feel like if it was not going to...
I think, like, they probably renegotiated the deal, so, like, From Software might own the IP, or might have more to say, but you'll never see, like, Demon Souls on the Xbox. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I mean, possibly, but...
Well, Sony owns the Demon Souls name, or the IP.
Yeah.
So that's why they made, Dark Souls in the first place.
No, well, yeah, exactly. But,
Jens is all salivating for that game.
Oh no, I mean, Jens is absolutely, like, dying to play that game, and I don't blame him. It's the game that he's really wanting. So,
yeah.
And all those Souls fans, that's the game they've wanted to be there and be available, so they can have all of them in one place, and,
have fun.
Yeah. I'm not playing it, but I'm sure a lot of people will, and they'll enjoy it. I'm sure that there's already people complaining about why are you giving them activities to be able to figure out how to get through levels on the PS5? That's so against everything that From Software is for.
No, it'd be funny if From Software just said, because we don't want to give YouTubers any revenue or any hits. And that was it.
I mean, but it's just like, and then people going, why do we need this when there's already YouTube and there's already Reddit and there's always like, maybe somebody wants to make sure you're constantly on your system, right? Like,
yeah,
that's the whole point.
Easier. Or you don't have to scrub through some 20-minute long video about trying to kill this one boss or something.
Well, I will totally agree with that, but you're also giving the developers work that they technically, they don't need more work than they already have. But, I mean, for Sony, that's what it is. Like, that means you're more time on your console. Like, you're using it more for other things. Like, you're not just, let me get out of this to go to YouTube I had to do that. There was times I get stuck on playing a game on Switch. Oh, yeah. I'd have to get out of my game and go to YouTube and figure out what the heck I'm doing so I could go through this section and then go back. And it's like,
pretty much every game. Yeah.
So, and then, you're having to do that thing you said. Like, I'm having to scroll to figure out where the hell I am based on this person's walkthrough. And so.
Right.
This is more helpful in a way. We'll see if this actually becomes something that gets used a lot, or if it becomes a feature that just dies, because that happens a lot too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like right now, the DualSense is apparently like this awesome thing, and I'm really excited to one day, try it out. But, I wonder I hope it doesn't. I hope it does not become like the 6-axis thing or the...
No, I think more people are impressed with this thing than the 6-axis. Or it's not... Yeah. This is new. The 6-axis always felt like they were just tacking it on for the hell of it. Mm-hmm. Or because they were trying to capture the Wii motion control crap. Like, this actually seems like legitimately new and exciting for developers and reviewers. So
yeah, because you're getting to add feedback that wasn't in like the sticks, and you can feel it when you move around like individually and stuff like that. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
that's something that like really makes it feel like you're immersed in the game, and you need more of that. With something being already interactive, you want it to put you there further. So there's apparently talk that Take-Two could buy Codemasters, which of course Codemasters makes the Dirt series, which Dirt 5 is about to come out with the launch of these consoles. The Grid series, right?
Yep.
And
they bought Slightly Nice Studios, so they own Project Cars.
Yeah, Project Cars.
And I think they have at least one other, or at least they used to have like one other, like kind of racing franchise, but I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, I mean, they used to do the, like, simulator games.
Oh, they do the F1 games, that's it.
Yeah, the F1. I mean, yeah, and the F1 games they're big deals. They sell really well. So that's kind of been carrying them, is all these dirt franchises and then F1. So, and we'll see.
I mean,
we'll see.
It's kind of interesting because, like, Take-Two, like, you wouldn't really expect them to buy them, but hey, why not, I guess?
I mean, it'd be good for Take-Two, right? It's something you don't really have. It's like racing games are usually not something you'd associate with them, so like you said. But it helps build their sports profile as well.
Right. Aside from like the NBA crap.
Yeah, the NBA or the they also do they used to do the NFL.
They should force Rockstar to make another table tennis game.
I really like that game. I wish they would.
I wasn't really kidding. Like, that was a fun game. Like, yeah.
That game was really good. It'd be great if they did do it, but I don't know. Don't think so. We'll see though. They did announce that they're doing at least backwards compatibility for Grand Theft Auto 5 and Red Dead 2, but that shouldn't surprise you. I mean, they want people to keep doing stuff on those games, so why wouldn't you?
Well, I mean, they're releasing some, like, that new version of GTA 5 also. I don't know when it's coming out, but that was in, like, that PS5 trailer, and they're like,
yeah.
Wait, why are you showing GTA 5?
Right. Well, hey, why not? People are still buying it. People are still playing it.
Yeah.
So. Bethesda is going to maybe making apparently more online multiplayer games.
It worked so well for the first time. Worked so well the first time.
Yeah, I mean, hey, they've done a lot to at least redeem themselves a bit with Fallout 76. At least Todd Howard's...
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. At least Todd Howard is like, transparent about it. He says, hey, we let a lot of people down, but,
I am continually amazed when they try to cram multiplayer into games that don't require it, and it makes them worse experiences. And, like Fallout 1, the other 3 good examples are Final Fantasy 15. Like,
the Comrade thing.
Yeah, Comrade. Comrade. That I don't know if it was okay or not. I played it once and, like no one was playing it, but it's like, who was asking for this? The other 2 good examples are Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs has always had multiplayer, and it's always been god-awful. And, there was one other game, like one other recent game, I can't remember what it was, but they Metal Gear Solid 5.
Oh god, yeah.
And it's like, why do you keep trying to, force multiplayer in these games?
Oh, because they want people to play them more.
Or
more money.
Need for Speed. Like, any of the Need for Speed games this console generation have been awful.
Yep. That's not surprising, though, but yeah. So, let's go ahead.
Like, do you think Elder Scrolls 6 or Starfield have multiplayer?
Why do you need them? They're basically worlds where you have multiplayer there?
I mean, yeah. I just, you think after Fallout 76, I mean, yeah, it is, marginally okay now, but it took 2 years.
I mean, they're still doing Elder Scrolls Online, so.
Well, that's different. I mean, that was an actual game at the start.
Yeah.
It may have had problems, but from day one, it was, functional, or, at least it had fans. Fallout 76 launched so busted, and, a year after, we're gonna finally add NPCs, and it's what? Don't,
this should have been in from the beginning.
Yeah, it's funny when companies just can't admit that what they did was wrong, or, just a mistake and move on. They should, Elder Scrolls Online, if they want to keep that going, that's cool. That's fine. But they should have just said, hey, we're sorry about Fallout 76. We're going to refund everyone's money. And let's everyone forget this and move on with their lives. In fact, if they did that with Fallout 4, I wouldn't mind that either, personally. But
yeah, I was not a fan of Fallout 4 at all.
I don't know anyone who is. I know people who, there are some nice things in Fallout 4, no weapon degradation. That's not very nice. But, from a story perspective, and even from a gameplay perspective, it's I don't know anyone who prefers that game over Fallout 3 or New Vegas. And it's that's messed up.
Yeah, there are people that really like Fallout 4, but it is a very small number, it feels like, over the other Fallout games.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, that's sort of the last of the, I don't know, if, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the last of the news, really. So, I don't know, unless you have something else you want to mention.
You don't want to talk about the new Blood Rain HD versions?
Not really. It's been so long since I played Blood Rain.
I just think it's funny. But, yeah. I mean, Blood Rain 1 and 2 aren't, bad games, but
they're fine.
Of their era, let's say that.
Exactly.
Same with,
other era.
The same with, Time Splitters. It's there are really weird
I used to love Time Splitters.
Yeah, but try playing that game now and going what the fuck?
I really wish they could, didn't somebody buy the franchise and then they just did nothing with it?
I think it might be that Koch Media or Coke Media.
Yeah, Coke Media, yeah.
And now they're whatever, THQ Nordic or, whatever like that.
Embracer Group. Yeah, Embracer Group. So.
Yeah, and they keep saying they're making a new Time Splitters game, but it's leave that, just make something new.
True.
I don't think those FPS games don't work anymore. Look at Unreal Tournament, and they tried to bring that back a few years ago, or Lawbreakers. Lawbreakers, from what I understand, was a pretty functional game, but it's just that type of arena style shooter doesn't work, or no one cares to play that anymore.
Yeah. This came out at a time when there was just other stuff. that was better as well.
Right.
Didn't help.
But, yeah, well, that's it for the news, I guess.
Let's get into our big topic. The top five launch games of all time. Okay, here's the caveat. Number one, I told Mark you can only pick one game in a franchise. Number one, because you could legitimately put like 4 or 5 different Marios.
Yeah.
And then you can make the whole list Mario, and then it's like you can't talk about other games. You could put, 2 Zeldas, and so there's possibly other titles that also go into that as well. So it's like I just was like, let's just keep it to one game per franchise. And also it's our list. Like I thought about trying to be a little bit more objective, and I was like,
meh. There's
one that obviously should be there, I think, if you're going to do that, but it's like I think it's less fun that way. Like, and obviously I'm talking about Mario 1 would be there because it basically saved video games as we know it.
Such a breakout hit for Nintendo, or it was like the character, the game for Nintendo and the NES when it came out.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was the game that like basically made it to where video games for your house, like this can work. Like okay, cool. Like because think about it, like Nintendo was doing something that they could have just fallen flat on their face and it could have never taken off the way it did, but it did, So, all right, let's start. So your number 5.
My number 5 was Halo, the first Halo,
which is actually my number 2.
And it's my number 5. Well, it's my number 5 because I didn't play Halo at launch. Like I got that like at least almost like a year later. I mean, it's a really great first-person shooter game. I only played it by myself, so that kind of killed some of my enjoyment. Mm-hmm. And there are certain levels in that game which are gnarly, like the library, for example.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh god.
But as a console first-person shooter, I mean, it's still one of the best. Or I mean, there are basically 2 epochs or 2 like seismic shifts when it comes to console first-person shooters. The first is GoldenEye, and the second is Halo.
Yeah, I mean, Halo really changed. That's why I was my number 2 as well. It's not just because, I mean, number 1, it made my list because it's a game that I have a lot of nostalgia for. I go back and play it sometimes, the Master Chief Collection. I love the single player. It feels so good to play that game. The shooting mechanics in the game are so good. Master Chief is such a, iconic character, just driving. I mean, some of the, driving the Warthog around is not the most fluid thing in the world. So, there are things, I mean, the multiplayer was wonderful, just like GoldenEye. It was great for its time of, it's something that you set up that system link, you could play with your friends, and you could spend hours and hours. That's what we did at summer parties. It was play Halo. We play other games. People would bring their own TV and play other games, but we'd wind up playing Halo for hours and hours. And,
we played GoldenEye, but I'm slightly older than you, so that's why.
No, I played GoldenEye, but when I had a 64, I played it with my family, and a lot of them did not understand how to play that game. So it was more we were playing Mario Kart and Super Smash Bros. And stuff that was easier to understand.
Oh yeah, we played that too. I was gonna say the third FPS shockwave would be Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Those are the 3.
But it's I mean, and then not to mention, Xbox would not exist without Halo working. I mean, Xbox basically made their brand off the back of Halo, and, they were able to add Gears in later, but, I mean, it really is, that's their mascot, that's their showpiece. I mean, that is the reason why this launch lineup is as bare as it is, outside of Yakuza being exclusive for a short window. I mean,
let me ask, let me ask you one critical question. So about Halo Infinite, do you think that thing is actually going to come to the Xbox One?
I think they need to be smart and just be at this point, I know you had already talked about it, but at the time that this game's going to come out, if it comes out in 2021, I'll be surprised. And if it comes out in 2021, it's in the fall. Why are you still making huge games like Halo for the Xbox One at that point?
There was some rumor about Halo, Infinite, they started working 2 years ago, and the demo they showed like a year or two ago was like just like barely a demo and stuff like that. So, and there's rumors about like, only the multiplayer will come out first and the single player will be like later on or something. So, who knows? I don't think it'll come to Xbox One though. I think it'll be too late. By the time
I think their best bet would be to say, look, I'm sorry. We're sorry. Here's a free, 3 months of Game Pass or something to all the people that were going to buy it on Xbox One, or I don't know how you make good on that, but like.
Say we improved the game too much, so it can't be on the Xbox One. I mean, they did it
exactly.
too.
And then you go and show a freaking video where that game really looks awesome.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you're having, Bloober Team come out with the Medium, and it was supposed to be a month after the system launches, and it was only on Series X, S, and the PC at that point. Like, why are you having a Halo game come out for Xbox One?
Yeah.
It's like, no, you don't, that's wasting everybody's time. Anyway, and that's killing your game. So anyway. Yeah. I mean, again, 5? My number 5 is Soul Calibur, which is your number 3.
Yeah.
This game, obviously I wound up loving 2 a lot more in this game, but like,
really?
This was like one of the first, fighting games that I was just enamored with. I didn't grow up I grew up in the arcades, in those 90s arcades or whatever, but I was playing, those beat 'em ups or whatever. I wasn't playing a Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and all that. So, when that came out for Dreamcast, and I remember going to a friend's house and playing this, and just being like, fuck, this is great. And then also Dave & Buster's had the arcade version of this. And then I found out it was on Dreamcast, and I got it.
Yeah, Soul Calibur, I played the arcade version of Soul. It's like Soul Edge, I think.
Yeah, Soul Edge.
It's not the same game. I mean, it is kind of, but like, the Dreamcast version just adds so much more to it, like from a visual standpoint, and then all the new characters and stuff. Like, I mean, I still think it's like the best Dreamcast launch game. You have a different opinion, but
yeah.
And your opinion, like you said, Soul Calibur 2 is better, but like I assume you just mean about the Link one because like no one else.
Yeah, it's more about
no one else who thinks that way.
But I just like enjoy Soul Calibur, just the way it plays and the way that you use the different weapons with the different characters. I always enjoyed that, and they always had this weird story mode too.
It's a really good pick up and play game, but if you really know what you're doing, you can like kind of just crush people when you really want to.
Oh yeah, you can totally wipe the floor with people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is a game that you can also just learn as you go and get better, and you don't have to know a lot to be decent at it as well, which I think was appealing to me. For me, my number 4 was a Power Stone. Obviously, I think 2 winds up being better because it has more characters and stuff like that, and just improves the gameplay. But like, this game was just so crazy and weird, but I loved it. Like, this is another game that I could play with friends, and you could be there for hours because you didn't have to be like awesome at it. You just had to know what this was like Smash. Like, before Smash became this ridiculous thing, like, it did Smash better.
Well, it's 3D. It has way wackier shit going on.
Yeah. Like, I love the thing of, like, having to you could take the gems and all that, too. It was just, man. And this is before I really knew about, like, doing the anime aesthetic and all that stuff. It's like, it's just, man, I wish they could make another one of these.
The one guy basically turns into like Goku and you get all the gems, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And he does like the spirit bomb. Power Stone is cool. I don't like the second one as much, actually. Like, I know I got higher reviews and stuff, but I like the aesthetic and the characters of the first one more. It was more simple, but I think I prefer that actually than the second one.
I just remember some of these levels were like nuts, so where you could get lost at the bottom, and as you're making your way to the top, like, stop somebody from winning. Is this? There were so many cool moments in that game. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. My number 4.
What's your number 4?
AMP3.
AMP3, huh?
Yeah. The Xbox 360 actually had a pretty decent launch lineup, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't aged particularly well. Like Perfect Dark Zero, it didn't age well a year after that thing came out. But I think AMP3 really holds up pretty well still. It's kind of a shame it's not backward compatible with like the Xbox One or the Series X. It's incredibly crazy. Like the story mode is bananas, but like even from I think like it works really well from a gameplay perspective. Like it holds up.
Yeah.
And yeah, it has great music, great visuals. And it's just fun to play overall.
Yeah, I remember. I think the game that I played the most at launch was like Dead or Alive 4.
Yeah.
For the 360, and I don't know why I liked the tricky games more when it came to all that.
Well, tricky was like a racing game.
Yeah.
And 3, I think I had a few races here and there, but it was much more of like a Tony Hawk snowboarding type of game. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, building big combos and getting to like the end of the track or you know the mountain or whatever. But yeah, that game still is like supremely great in my opinion, and like one of the best extreme sports games around.
Yeah, I mean, and like if you think about it, like 360 really did have a good launch. I mean, you know, Condemned was a really good game that I think a lot of people didn't appreciate at the time, but they appreciated like later.
Yeah.
And Cameo was a good game that I think didn't get enough love. Project Gotham was always good as well. And you know. I mean, they had all the sports games, but those weren't good at the time, because they were kind of bunked, and then Call of Duty 2.
Yeah.
So.
And Need for Speed Most Wanted was really great.
Yeah. Not that Tony Hawk game, though.
No, that was one of the bad ones.
Yeah, that's one of the bad ones. So what's your...
Well, my number 3 you already mentioned, but it was Soul Calibur.
Okay. And then...
What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Wii Sports, because... This is really one of the few games that I mean, my dad's the one that owned the Wii, but like, Wii Sports really was
it made
just
the Wii.
Yeah, it made the Wii, and it's like, it really made you feel like, man, I can just be in my living room. I'm not really playing this sport, but man, I can bowl, I can play baseball, I can golf, I can do all these things, and it's like, and it's fun, you know, and I mean, it was just it really wasn't a whole lot to it. It wasn't this deep mechanics that you're playing in these games for Wii Sports.
I mean, I think there's only 5 games, right?
Yeah, I mean, they added, you know, things later on more to these Wii Sports.
Well, like Wii Sports Plus, I think that added more, but like,
yeah.
I think the boxing games sucked ass.
Yeah, I agree.
But like bowling, baseball, and
golf, and then tennis.
Golf.
Tennis was great.
Yeah, the other 4 were really good.
And like, that's the thing too, is just, it shows how like a simple concept, the time that it came out at, with the Wii the way it really was just this thing of like, oh my god, wow, here we are doing this, and it's something you can do with your whole family. I mean, it's like one of the highest selling games of all time. So, obviously because it comes with the Wii. But
I've seen like they released that game like separately, and like
it's still sold.
That's kind of an expensive game, like to get it now.
Yeah, because if you buy a Wii now, it probably doesn't come with the Wii. You have to buy the Wii separate and then try to find that game.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's just so many memories with that game. It's the game like you could keep coming back to it as well. Like it's something that they couldn't capture again with 1-2 Switch. When the Switch came out, they tried, it didn't work. And I think even some of the later stuff that they come out with, you know, Wii Sports Resort and all that, I still think it didn't quite capture the...
I mean, Resort was different because it added a lot more complexity to it. I think that's
the Wii Motion Plus thing and all that.
Yeah. But like Wii Music didn't do well, and yeah, like every time they tried to go back to that well, it's like no, like they keep trying to like overthink it. I think.
Yeah, definitely, and I think they did capture, I think, some of that magic again with oh freak, why can't I think of it? Their exercise thing that they have for the Switch now.
Ring Fit.
Ring Fit. Yeah, I think they have captured some of that a little bit with Ring Fit. But, which I think they did not at all with all the other fit things and fitness boxing and all that.
Like the Wii Fit?
Yeah, the Wii Fit. I mean, the Wii Fit was cool because they had the board, right? But, like...
They cannot find any goodwill across the land.
Yeah, I mean, like, that was peak Nintendo at that point of, like, we could come out with this board that you're gonna use to do all this stuff on, and then that went away.
Yeah.
So what is your number one should not be surprising to anybody that has listened to the show for any length of time, because if there's anyone that has shown their love for Tetris more than Mark, I don't know. It's Tetris #1 for the Game Boy.
I thought you were going to say Ridge Racer 7, but
no, yeah.
Yeah, Tetris my #1. It launched the Game Boy. That's such a big hit on that thing. Even as a pack-in, but it also showed off the multiplayer capability of the Game Boy at the time. Great. I mean, it's one of the best versions of Game Boy or Tetris still, because the later ones also kind of screwed it all up. Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, how many people got addicted and wouldn't get off a bus playing Tetris?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, think about a game of just like matching blocks. Nobody thinks about how it literally makes, anytime you think of a puzzle game now, it has its roots in Tetris. And,
right.
That's something to think about. And of course, before I mention mine, I skipped your #2.
Yeah, I was questioning that. I mean, well, your #2 was, like you said earlier, Halo.
Right.
My #2 is Super Mario 64.
Which, I mean, 3D platformer, so everything does Mario 64, so.
Yeah, I mean, there are basically 3 Mario launch games. There's Mario Brothers, Mario World, and Mario 64. And since then, there's not been a Mario launch game.
Well, Super Mario Brothers U for the Wii U.
I'm going to reiterate what it has said. There's not been a Mario. I just prefer, you'll get into World later, but I think Mario 64 is such a game changer. It literally showed, how 3D cameras are supposed to work in games, more or less. There are a few 3D games before that, Tomb Raider, but you can't compare the camera in Tomb Raider to Mario 64.
Yeah, just being able to do that, whole 360 thing with the camera on Mario 64 was, amazing, and just...
And, Mario just controls so well. There's a great, variety of levels, or, worlds in the games, and music is fantastic. Especially in the N64, which didn't have great audio capabilities. Let's be honest. I don't think the game is, 25 years old now, or, 24. It may not have aged entirely gracefully, as that Mario Anniversary Collection kind of put out, or pointed out, but, I still prefer to play that than, Galaxy or Sunshine.
And that's fair. I mean, you're also comparing it to Sunshine, which,
is not a good game at all.
We know what happened with that, and I mean, Galaxy is great, but, I think Mario 64 just is such a landmark, and then also just the way it plays is...
I remember, I have fond memories of going in, a Best Buy in that era, and, the minute you walk in, the second you walk in, they had a big, 9 TV display, right in the center of the store of Mario 64, their kiosk. And this thing was, 50 feet in the air. And it was radical.
Yeah, I loved walking in a store, and back when you could walk in a store and there's those things.
I remember, I miss kiosks. They still occasionally have them, but they're all, junky and crappy now.
Yeah, or GameStop has them, and they're not even the demo ones anymore. They're watch videos, trailers of...
Well, now they don't even work. They're just all, unplugged because of COVID. But, I used to be able to, remember, games... Well, this was more Funko Land. You could just say, hey, I want to play this game. And the clerk would, pull it out of a drawer and, load it up, and it was, a Genesis game or some Super Nintendo game or something. And it's
oh, no, that was awesome. You could literally be in that store playing whatever you wanted to try it out. And you could beat a game there if you stay there long enough.
Right.
And they couldn't say anything to you, so... those were the days.
Yeah.
Those were the days. And of course, my #1, you mentioned it, Super Mario World. I've mentioned my love for this game, I don't know how many times on this, show, but, it was the first game that I ever really remember owning. It was, I didn't buy it, my dad did, but it was it was the first console that was mine. It's my console. It was the game that I played the most because it's the game that I had for the longest time. But it's a great game. And it's just, it had a lot of variety in the levels. You could play as Yoshi. You could, that's where my love for, Yoshi came from. It's just it took a lot of the foundations from the first Mario Brothers. And then, of course, they got to expand that with, Mario 3, which is another great Mario game. and then just put it all together for the Super Nintendo and have it look really great for its time. The music was great. Just absolutely adore this game. And,
See, I really love Mario World, but my only knock against it is if you compare it to like Mario Brothers 3, it feels very constrained.
Yeah, okay.
And I say that because like there's only really 2 power-ups in Mario World: the Fire Flower and the Feather.
That's true. Yeah.
And like you can break the game with the Feather, no question. The Fire Flower always sucks in Mario games, personally, I think. But like if you compare it to like Mario Brothers 3, where there's like 9 different suits and half of them are crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean that is like probably my only criticism of like Mario World, like personally. Like finding all the secret entrances and exits is cool. Like the really secret Star World is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
All the boss fights are cool.
I love the world where you get to find all the Yoshis as well.
Yeah. Well, that was a Star World, like, because they had the red, the blue, and the yellow Yoshis, and they all did, like, different abilities, and the blue was always the best.
I agree there, yeah.
And the red and yellow ones always sucked.
But, yeah, I mean, it was like, for its time, talk about, like, getting to show off the Super Nintendo. I mean, obviously, Sega wound up being able to do things faster and all that stuff, but I think it was able to show off how Super Nintendo wound up having one of the best game lineups of all time, so. I mean,
like, Sonic is faster, but there's like, in a Sonic game there's like 20 levels, maybe 22. In Mario there's like 50. And, with all the different exits and stuff, you can bump through like 90. I think there are like 96 exits in Mario World.
Mm-hmm.
So, at the time you don't know that, you're just like, oh, this number's going up. But like, now you look at it and go like, oh, that's actually like a percentage, or, there's an actual goal here. Like, Sonic doesn't really have that.
Yeah, that's true too. But, yeah, I mean, anything else you wanna...
Well, no, I mean, I just hope this next launch is good. I mean, it'd be nice.
Yeah, let's hope that... I mean, that's what I'm really hoping for, is we don't have any crazy, launch defects and anything like that. I just want people to really be able to enjoy their systems, and you can have your console wars if you want, but just enjoy those games that are going to come out with it. I mean, I'm super excited for Yakuza. Everything I keep seeing about it just makes me want to play more, want to play it.
Yeah.
Looks freaking awesome. Excited for Assassin's Creed. Anything I'm sure you want to really get into Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man and Assassin's Creed are probably my 2 big games. I mean, yeah, Yakuza would be, but it's not. I mean, I'll probably play it on PS4 or PC to get it in. Although, when PS4, you could just get it upgraded, right? So. Yeah, but PC might be good because, like, I read, like, one review and they said, like, you have to, like, at a certain point you have to really grind out levels in that game.
Oh, yeah. Like, yeah, you do at the end, apparently.
Well, like,
sorry to spoil it for people.
If you have the PC version, that's not a factor.
Well, yeah, But,
Yep, I mean, we'll know next week, and, well, at least hopefully I will. Well, I and you, for that matter. And we'll have different opinions on both systems as well.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, hopefully Jens will get his in as well, so you'll have 2 of you guys that get to enjoy a PS5, and 2 of us enjoy this Series X as well. Let's see. Hopefully I get good news from Amazon.
As I hear a cat crying in the background.
Yeah, that's one of the kitties, I think. They're probably... One of them did something.
Yeah.
Alright, well... Yeah, everybody, get ready. Get ready for those systems. They're almost here. By the time we come out with a show... I mean, I don't know. Maybe if Jens and I both get our systems in, we'll be able to do like a special Series X thing, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, for sure, when we come out next week, those systems will be here.
Yep.
We'll get to talk about PS5, Series X, and the games that come along with them. We can still talk about the games without those systems, but yeah. We'll see you later, everybody.
Later.
And bye.